Wilson International. I was going to introduce Bruce, but I figured we should have someone that's a little closer to him than me, and also his succession plan in the business. I'd like to ask Ted to come up and introduce his father.
You know, it's a great privilege for me to take a few moments to introduce my father, Bruce Wilson. You know, Wilson International Trade Consultants started back almost 45 years ago with the vision of helping people. You know, when times are great, the smartest people diversify. Not just in oil and gas and the Alberta pipeline per se, but also in technologies, into agriculture, manufacturing. You today, as business advocates and as per your mission statement, to be a leader and advocate for the promotion of business and community. If you think about that for a moment, an advocate means to be one for business, to support others. The continuation of business is important. So when domestically things are up, the smartest business play is to diversify. If your business is needing an injection beyond your current business plan and looking for a continuity plan to build upon your successes, international business is the way to go. My father, Bruce Wilson, as the CEO and President of Wilson International, has circumnavigated the world countless times. I'm thinking we're close to 12 or 13 times. He's done business now in almost 135 countries. He has had the great privilege of developing relationships that have lasted his lifetime in business. Multiple agents in the span of now over 300 agents worldwide. And even at his tender age into the early 70s, he's still very much eager to support people through his wisdom and through his knowledge that international trade is the key for success. Mr. Bruce Wilson.
From my own perspective, we have done business, as Ted has said, all over the world, and we continue to do that. But you have to take the initiative. And you have to say to yourself, do I have a product or a service that lends itself to the international market? If your company's been around for 2 or 3 years, you do $1 million or more in sales, now is the time to consider finding another market. And that market is somewhere else. Not here, it's somewhere else. I think I know what you want to hear. How do I find that market? And most importantly, how do I get paid? Now, one of the good things that the federal government have is that they have a department called EDC. It stands for the Export Development Corporation. Yes, they have an office in Edmonton. And yes, they do have funds available to assist you in getting paid in a foreign jurisdiction. They will work with your bank to make sure that if the buyer of your product or your service internationally doesn't pay for whatever reason, they will pay. So what's the sense of you, young lady, getting on an airplane, flying to Kazakhstan, doing a deal with some wheeler dealer there, come home with a piece of paper that doesn't mean anything? There's no sense. Stay home, go to a Kazakh restaurant in downtown Edmonton and save your money. EDC is the best department the federal government have. Remember that. They're good people. They're good people who run it. I've never, ever had any problem with them before, never. The problem is that I see it is that our government, wherever that might be it federal or whatever, don't really know too much about out here. And it's an election year, they know. They really do know. But now do they know? I don't know. What has happened recently is that the key department of the federal government, Department of DFAID, and that stands for the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, has closed 5 Western offices. And so that department used to be able to assist you as a company to find where there might be a niche market for your product somewhere in the world. They work with the Trade Commissioner services that the federal government have set up in 130-odd countries. That no longer is available to you in Edmonton. You have to go to Calgary or to Vancouver. You used to be in Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg, you name it, but we're not there now. So that means that you're on your own. And that's a very scary feeling. Co-departments are good too. CCC, which is called the Canadian Commercial Corporation, is a very good one. They do government-to-government work. If the government of wherever country wants to build a dam someplace, they'll go and look for companies, engineers, architects, environmentalists, and so on, and put together a group from Canada to go to that country and bid on a job and be paid by the government. To find that market is easy. To get it is a little bit more difficult. Again, how do we get paid? So the Canadian government, again, through DFATE, although you now have to go to Calgary or Ottawa, they have programs available to introduce you to the trade commissioner in that particular country. Let me warn you in advance, however, that they have a very strict rule that they don't want you in the private sector to use that department to do your marketing for you. So in other words, you're allowed to pick 3 parts of the world where you feel that there might be a niche. So I said to this client of mine, there's only one thing we can do, bud, and that is to hire that little pooper there, a little airplane with 1 engine, and go through the Andes and do it. Oh, there's no way you're going to get me on that little thing. Well, it was a beautiful day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I said, come on now, let's just do it. We have to do it. And I said, you know, in addition to that, I have a private license. And so I'll sit beside the pilot, and we should be fine. Okay. So we get in the airplane, we take off, and of course this is a Spanish-speaking country. A beautiful, beautiful flight through all the Andes and so on. And how he would do it, he'd go, uno, dos, tres, and bent the aircraft. And then uno, dos, tres, cuatro, and bent the aircraft. On and on we went, till we finally landed in Santa Cruz. Had a lovely lunch, signed a memorandum of understanding. Everything went fine. We got back, came back, same route, uno, dos, tres, all that kind of stuff. Landed the aircraft. So I said to this guy, so what do you think of that? He said, that was great. He said, especially because you have a private license. I said, Trevor, let me tell you a story. I don't. I do not have a private license. Until this day, he always sees me and goes, you SOB. But you know what? You do what you have to do to get the sale. That's the bottom line. Never forget what got you here. You're here because you worked hard. You worked very hard, and you don't want to lose what you've already got just to go someplace else. There is another market, no doubt about it, and who knows where that is. But consider that market as another arm of the company. That's all it is. Never forget what got you to where you are today. The international market can be extremely, extremely good. I mean, it can be very, very good. We're trying to encourage the Chamber of Commerce to think about maybe going on trade missions to places like Europe, where there is a huge market. They have to diversify. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for having me here.
Bruce is a treat. I mean, to be able to tell tales and engage people of all different types of businesses is certainly a unique quality, but I think he really brings value to the Chamber. We've got businesses of all sizes, from 1 and 2 person to multi-million-dollar facilities, and those people obviously are looking to expand and diversify, and what a perfect opportunity to experience some different revenue streams, whether it's from our country or a different country, and if he can broker those relationships or teach people how to broker those relationships, I think that's invaluable.
Oh, I thought his presentation was great. He kind of opened a little bit of insight to what companies can get into, and certainly I think the biggest thing was they have to do it. You know, a lot of businesses will say we should, but don't. And he encouraged people to go ahead and do it.
Okay, so do you think Bruce would add value to helping out any of the companies in your chamber?
Well, I think for sure, like certainly expertise is what helps. You know, I think people are scared of what they don't know. Right. If I can hire someone that I know to walk me down the path, I'm much more encouraged by doing it.